This is Mitch Canton with SalmonCreekLive.com, out in the neighborhood again on location. Today we're talking with Dennis, who's the co-owner of Goju Ryu Karate. You say that 3 times fast. We're going to talk to Dennis a little bit about the karate school. And Dennis is a sensei. So first thing that probably comes to your mind, I know it came to mine, is what's a sensei? Dennis?
Well, a sensei is a designation. It's not a rank. And when you reach the rank of Dan or black belt, your actual entitlement is senpai, which means most senior student. The rank of, or the designation of sensei is bestowed upon you by your sensei when you reach a level of sandan and have the capacity in their minds to be a teacher, and that's what sensei means,
Teacher. Got the fancy word for teacher there. Sounds like a whole bunch of different processes that you go through to get there.
There is. In the traditional forms, which is what we teach, that is the process. It's a very slow, tedious process. There are elements of the curriculum that require a lot of teaching time. And so to earn that designation as sensei, you have to put in more than 750 hours of floor time.
Wow. I thought there was a lot of floor time in the real estate business. That's a lot. So, well, what got you in karate? Why? What was the passion? What was, what floated your boat? What got you into that?
What initially motivated me was an activity for my children. My wife and I became involved with Goju within 30 days of them starting. We found that it was not only a means of physical exercise, but we became very self-aware of who we were as individuals, and we also realized that the culture and the breath work and all that was involved in the style that we chose was a lifestyle change. And at the time, it was a direction that we chose to take.
Well, how does that, I can understand it personally, but how does that relate into becoming a business? How did you take that and turn that into actually a business?
Actually, that's a good question. That isn't typically the route that most practitioners take. Most of them end up training somewhere between 5 and 7 years. And then they just take it with them as part of that adolescent or teenage or early adulthood. We decided, because it was a lifestyle change for us, that it did adapt well to the business environment. It gave us an opportunity to have a passion about what we felt was important to us as a family, and we turned it into a business model. And as difficult as it is today, services right now, such as martial services, what we teach, allow us to grow as individuals, and we grew as a family together. So it was difficult. There aren't very many business models, as you can imagine, out there identifying with martial arts schools. We're not retailing a specific product, but we are providing a lifestyle for those that are truly interested in changing how they perceive their world around them, whether it's business, family, social, whatever it happens to be.
You talked about your family now. My understanding is you have other parts of your family involved in the business itself. Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. As we continued to train and we became, to our teacher's perspective, confident enough that we could start to teach, and we had to receive permission to actually open a school. It's not something you normally take directional-wise. We received permission to go ahead and start the school in 2004. And as such, all of us were at a rank that allowed us to be qualified as teachers. So we all received the designation as sensei at that time. And from there, we started very small, 800 square feet. And I don't think it was initially intended to be a commercial school. I think it was more intended to be sort of like a family, friends, contact, social people, 8 or 10 or 12 students, that type of thing. And because we're a family of 4, which is unique to the martial arts world, that a family will train together for a lifespan, we found that we were drawing families to us. And so we have a lot of families that train, father-sons, mother-daughters, mother-sons. We have a full family of 6. So it kind of, because of the lifestyle philosophies that we teach, and the fact that we are a family that teach, we all bring different elements of how we take the information that we were taught early on in our career, in our training, and we all apply it differently, which is the individuality of what we teach.
Well, you're talking about 800 square feet. You've got a lot more than that now. That must have been, you must have
Exactly.
started someplace else and moved here. Is that?
We did. We started in a very small place in the same complex, but in the back was a converted garage. And in 2006, we moved up to this space in this building when it became vacant, and we have just under 2,700 square feet.
Beautiful facility. Very
Thank
nice.
you very much.
Nicely done. Come out and take a look at it sometime. Very nicely done. So, now Goju Ryu. I had to say that again because it's so fun to say. It's different than Taekwondo or other types of karate. Tell me a little bit how do they all differ? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, sure. It's a very basic difference between them. It's based on their continent or their island or what country they're from. You take Taekwondo, for example. That's a Korean-based art form. Your Tay systems, which we're a family of in the Okinawan Islands, is originated through the Chinas, the prefectures and provinces of China, through the Okinawas, through the trades. So when you talk about the styles that are present today, and there are hundreds of variations from the traditional styles of the Tay systems. The initial term, karate, was developed in the mid-20th century, and it was a term that was crafted by 5 representatives of the Tay systems for one reason. It's easier to market karate than tode-te, and that was the initial description of the Tay systems, was tode-te, all meaning open hand or empty hand.
Tell you what, Wikipedia has nothing on this guy. If you want some information, this is where you go, I guess. So, there's probably a lot that folks don't know about your school. What would you like to tell somebody who was looking to get some more information about who you are or what you do?
We bring a lifestyle change for those students, young and old, and I have him as young as 4 and as old as 72. I think he's having his 73rd birthday.
There you go.
And he just reached his level of Dan after all that time, and he started late in life. He started when he was in his mid-60s. I have 2 students of that age group. The point I'm trying to make, it's a lifestyle commitment from the student coming in. Do I want to change who I am? Not personality-wise, but my ability to deal with the elements of my life. Getting up in the morning, dealing with employment or family or finance or whatever the elements that we all have today. We teach breath work. We teach strength of body and mind and the connection between the two. It'd be interesting if you were to ask this question: how many people truly know what they're capable of? We have a lot of reality shows that give you that criteria. You can visually see. I can be running through a swamp. It can be doing whatever. But really, internally, we have to get up every morning with trying to identify: do we really know what our limits are and what our capacity is? How much can we actually achieve? That's the style that we teach. Is we teach you that you can. You can achieve more than what you mentally and physically feel you're capable of. So when you reach that level of I wouldn't want to say perfection, but that level of commitment that you can achieve more than you perceive yourself to achieve, then you're able to deal with things in life much better.
So it sounds like mental fitness as much as physical fitness.
Absolutely. How does that relate to the growth and development of you as a student? You don't have to be an athlete, number 1. You don't have to be in your mid-20s, number 2. And you don't have to be male, number 3.
I got one of those 3.
Okay. It adapts itself well to all of us at all points in our life. I have students coming in at 54, 55. I have students coming in at 60, 65. I have students coming in at 4. You can actually see how they change over a period of 60, 90, 120, 280 days.
If somebody wants to make that lifestyle change, how do they get a hold of you to do so?
We have the best way is to give us a call. Our phone number is 360-566-0377. We're here usually between 10 and 8:30 at night.
And here is?
Our location is 1311 Northeast 134th Street.
Right behind the Wayside.
Right behind Wayside Market, Salmon Creek area.
Right.
We're just west of I-5-205 interchange, or 134th, and we're east of Fred Meyer's if you're coming from the Fulada area.
Okay. All right. Well, Sensei Dennis, thank you very much for your time. This is Mitch Canton with SalmonCreekLive.com.
You're welcome.
Arigato. Is that something? Thanks, and have an awesome day. Thanks, SalmonCreekLive.com. Take care.